welcome everybody and call this meeting to order. So we have some minutes from the last time we got together, and I think you guys are stuck with me because I think I'm I'm no longer vice chair. I think I'm chair, aren't I? Because Mr. Hammond is taking paying extra attention to his health situation, I believe. And as a matter of fact, why don't we take just a second to have just a moment of silence for to remember Mr. Hammond, because I believe that he has in fact had some challenges. So if that's okay. Thank you guys for that. All right, Mr. Sanford. Mr. Sanford has an order for me to sign, so I'll probably do that as we go through. We have minutes from our August 16 meeting. Have you all had an opportunity to review those?
Yes.
Hi, Judge. I make a motion to approve minutes.
Is there a second?
You need a second. Second. I wasn't here.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty, so we've got that. And the chair and vice chair appointments, I guess that we should probably go through the formality of appointing the chair and vice chair. I think our vice chair will be Judge Sanchez, if I understand correctly, or at least he has been nominated. What is the appropriate procedure for that? Should we entertain a motion that we have a change in the chair and vice chair?
I move to approve the slate, both chair and vice chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, I've won another election. I would like to take a moment to introduce to you Opal Bryant. We are very fortunate to have made a wonderful hire. We had several really qualified candidates to choose from, and Opal was the cream of the crop. We're so proud of her, and we're so glad to have her. Would you like to say a few words to us and let us know a little more about yourself?
Yeah, so thank you. Opal Bryant, of course. So most of my work history has been like a more community-based setting. Turn on. Sorry. Here in Knoxville, predominantly with people experiencing homelessness. So very much a lot of mental health involved in that work. And then the past 2 years I have spent at Park West Medical Center working specifically in their geriatric psych unit. So I'm really excited to be back in a more community-based setting, outside of the acute setting, getting to build a longer relationship with clients and just helping them kind of towards their goals of independence. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to continuing to learn about this program and all of the things that can come from it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're so glad to have you. All right, with respect to program admission and referral updates, I'm going to have to defer to folks who know better than myself. I assume, Vince, that you may have some information about that.
Yeah, so I did sort of an annual report of sorts, but the referral update is from the moment the program began, so it's from 2023 to now. So we're up to 78 referrals, 27 approved for admission, still have 19 active, 2 graduations, and it is a 14-month program, so we're just now sort of getting into that sort of period, that window where we're going to actually start seeing people graduate. 3 withdrawn, 3 discharged, and then 51 other outcomes. And there's a breakdown there. spent over $66,000 on our people for the full calendar year of 2024. So that was aided a little bit because they had a little bit of extra money in the 23-24 budget that carried over because, you know, they didn't have two caseworkers, two salaries for the full 2023-24 budget fiscal year. So they did get a little extra help. We won't be able to do that next year because we have salaries, raises, that sort of thing. The county did the 4% raise. Obviously, our budget stayed the same. Salaries went up. The money's got to come from somewhere. So, but yeah, I mean, if 20 of our people were in jail for all of last year, it would have cost a lot more than $66,000. So, I think we're saving the county a little bit of money there. Got a little bit of a breakdown by percentage on how that money was spent. Obviously, housing, very expensive. It's the main issue. It takes up over a majority of the amount. Hopefully, we can get some more housing solutions up and going in the future.
What housing is being used typically?
Halfway houses. Almost exclusively in that.
Correct me
Go
if
ahead.
this is wrong, but we typically help folks in our program with deposits for the most part. We don't like continuously pay their rent. There's a lot of folks who, once they get up and going, once they get a deposit in a halfway house and get started, they're able to, through whatever means, sometimes it's employment, sometimes maybe disability or something like that, but they're able to pay their rents, I believe. Is that an accurate statement?
It's an individual sort of basis, but yeah, for the most part, what we like to sort of follow is deposit and first month's rent, just to kind of get them stabilized. Obviously, I mean that's the goal in any program is to stabilize some of these people. So housing is crucial in doing that. So.
When it comes to documentation, are we talking about social security numbers, driver's licenses, that kind of thing?
Correct. Yeah, vital records, birth certificates, driver's license. A lot of that number was helped out by, again, the previous fiscal year we had extra money, and so we were able to pay off a lot in court costs and things of that nature to get
That's
their
helpful.
driver's license back. So.
And even though that's true, though, we do have some folks participating in Elizabeth's
Yeah.
community service.
And that's the goal. Every single participant that we have, we get them, if they're physically able, we line them up with Elizabeth Whitehead's community service program. And we've had a lot of success with that, actually. We're up to, it's actually a little bit more than that number. We've got about 548 community service hours. We've actually got participants that are doing community service even above and beyond the 100 hours that they were required to do. They've sort of found community, and we love to see that. So we're really proud of a lot of our people. For just confidentiality, I didn't want to show their pictures, so we got some smiley faces up there. But
Hey, Vince, I got a quick question.
yeah.
First of all, thanks just for doing a great job with the slides and collecting all the data. I think, you're relatively new to the program, but you're doing a fantastic job, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Just going back to that other slide with the housing,
Yeah.
where it just a good graphic of how critical it is to stabilizing somebody and getting somebody on the right track, but also how expensive it is.
Yeah.
As far as like projections go, are we going to be good on the budget as far as having enough to meet that need in the future, into the next fiscal year?
It's not like we will be able to pay for the housing of every single participant. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but if we have to, we will utilize the shelters that we have,
But we're able to meet the need.
right now, yeah. But I mean, we have folks that range from who are self-employed that don't require housing to people that are disabled or on disability and need every amount of assistance that we can give them. So we kind of have a broad spectrum in that. Any other questions on the money? We'll go back to the money a little bit because we have the budget proposal for fiscal year 26 coming out too. So, yeah, we've expunged 280 plus records. Working on restitution, got nearly $3,000 in restitution paid. I mean, that's just a testament to some of our folks that are doing so well. You know, not everyone is succeeding at quite that same rate, but some of them are doing exceptionally well. And that's working at McDonald's, 13 days in a row and still making restitution payments and raising their kid. And so.
We have one single mom who in particular is not only doing well with her mental health, she is raising a child. Child comes to court Thursday afternoons, and he's a sweetheart. She is busting her tail. I think she homeschools him, doesn't she? Mm-hmm. And I know this isn't the pitch we're going to make to anybody who controls purse strings, but if all we did was help her, I would think that our time would be well spent. Mm-hmm. Because she's just doing fantastic.
We also, so when I started, Casey told me that, oh yeah, by the way, the state's seeking certification for our program. All the mental health court programs across the state are trying to get certified. So I thought, oh, I'll just learn really fast. But we had to submit a lot of paperwork, update our policies and procedures manual, participant handbook, the like. And the state came in, audited us, and they certified us, which thank goodness, because I was stressing about that so bad. But it wasn't that bad of a process. But we got certified back in December, so that'll run through December of 2027, I believe, or 2028. That's 4 years. Yeah. So.
That's a very exciting development.
Yeah. And so a quick update on MHCAB-CCC. We all love the acronym. Been working a little bit with some of the programs within the health department, just to try and get to know them some. All for Knox has a judicial diversion team, and then there's also the harm reduction team. And just trying to collaborate with them a little bit, bring them on board. Obviously, with the hiring of Opal and the holidays and all of the stuff going on, it was kind of impossible to get a monthly meeting going on. So pending the board's approval, I would humbly ask that we do a quarterly meeting. I think that would be a little bit more efficient for everyone involved. So I'd, maybe like y'all's input on that.
I tried to attend, but most of those were by teams. And I tried to attend a lot of them. I leave that to your discretion. I don't have any advice. It seemed to me that the value of those meetings was to make sure that that stakeholders could see each other, hear from each other, realize that they weren't operating in a vacuum. Whether that needs to be every month or it can be every quarter, you're probably going to be in the best position to know, I think.
Yeah, I think quarterly is probably the best use of our time and our resources, honestly. But we can fire them up every month if the stakeholders want to be involved every month. But time is a pretty precious resource for us all, especially you
Have
guys.
you received any input from these stakeholders about the value of these meetings? Have you, one way or the other, gotten feedback on that?
There have been, there have been two folks that have reached out asking about those monthly meetings out of the 49 or so that are on the roster. So there hasn't been a whole lot of pushback as far as why hasn't there been a meeting the past 2 months. So.
Thank you, Mr. Sanford. Copy under my door, please, if that's okay. Thank you.
I would say from my observations, I think it was important to have those meetings in the beginning, but I think you're right. At this point in time, I think through those meetings that were monthly, a lot of people are in the network now that are aware of how to contact other folks. And I think a quarterly meeting, I think, is appropriate unless we find that new people come to the table. In that case, you can invite them to the quarterly.
Yeah, we can always bump it up, you know.
Is that the kind of thing that we should have a motion about?
Judge, I'll make a motion that we move to quarterly meetings based on the recommendation of Vince.
I would, I'll be glad to second that, but I do think it should probably be in Vince's discretion, so that if you want to have it more than quarterly, you can. I wouldn't want to set anything in stone that then we have to come back and reconvene to vote again on it. So that's the only reason I would hesitate.
Can I ask you to amend your motion to allow Mr. Smith to set the meetings no less frequently than quarterly?
That'd be perfect, Your Honor. Thank you.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looks like we are 100% there. I also. All right. Would it be true to say that the next thing we need to consider is the budget proposal for fiscal year 25-26?
Yeah, before we get to that, I was going to ask Vince a question, just after you covered the slides. This is a question I've posed in other meetings before. What's the total current number of participants that we're serving? And do we have the capacity and the resources to comfortably serve those? Could we serve more? Are we sort of at a sweet spot? Help us to understand where you are in that.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, financially is the bottom line is a very important thing. I mean, we only have a finite amount of resources, but just our case managers, I mean, with only 2, I think the cap at 30 is a very reasonable cap. We're right now at 19 active, but we just had 1 graduate in December, 1 graduate in January. So, but we're also bringing in new people. We've got a referral in the works right now that we're probably going to accept. So that number will get back up to 20. I would like to see us in that 25 to 30 range. But again, it all just depends on, you know, the time that we're able to spend with them and deal with, because some of our clients are very time consuming.
We have recently had one person who has gotten off her meds. And I would say that based on reports of both Sabrina and Opal, that she counts as 5.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of the business. You know, that's how it is. Some folks are straight A students, and then some folks you just kind of have to drag them to class. But financially, you know, we would not be able to support housing for 20 people or 30 people. But again, we don't need to do that for all of them. So it's totally discretionary based on what they need and how to help them succeed in the program. And some people don't need much to succeed, and some people do. So, but yeah, 25 to 30 would be a goal for me, and I think for the whole team, a reasonable one. We'd need at least another case manager to get up to 50. We need increased funding for that. So.
Thank you.
All right. We will have a budget proposal, I believe, for 25-26. That is something that we should plan to vote on. State has already approved it. Changes will be applied at the beginning of the fiscal year in July. I think that Vince has provided you copies. And if you have had an opportunity to review it and you feel comfortable and you want to move to approve, certainly entertain those motions.
Yeah, and I apologize for the what's different comparison. I could not for the life of me get the PDF to work and printing that at a reasonable font size. So I would just recommend pulling it up on your computer at a later date to compare those two. But in this slide that I have up, we have just an easy comparison of how the salaries, taxes, and benefits went up. And then, we just took that from the operating costs and the travel training budget and applied a little bit more money to our special assistants. And this is just the budget proposal that was approved. I mean, this can always be changed. If we need to change something, if you guys need something changed, we will definitely get that into effect as soon as the fiscal year starts.
How did you save $4,000 on operating costs?
So some of that was just projections from the previous year. So knowing what we know now, we didn't necessarily need all of that.
Because that's a significant savings on our budget.
Yeah, the supply budget was quite large. And considering, again, that we had extra money from the previous fiscal years, we were stocked up
That's good.
on our supplies. Casey did not leave the cupboards empty.
Not surprising.
But
Kind of going back to my original question, looking at the specific assistance to individuals on the housing and rental assistance, the 24,750, you think we're gonna be good to go on that as far as meeting the need as we deliver it now?
yeah,
And if there's no other questions, I would move to approve the budget then.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nice budget. Thanks. This probably isn't Robert's Rules of Order, but anybody else want to say anything? Justin? You good?
I think so.
All right, well then I guess we need a motion to
Well,
adjourn. don't we?
I'll say, do you all have any questions or comments for us? Is there anything you need from us? Help, questions, anything from us? This is your opportunity for the next several months.
Yeah. Since we're
actually,
going
our
to
next
quarter.
board meeting is in April 11th, apparently, so we'll see each other
Oh, in
pretty
2
soon.
months.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's gonna fly by, so. But no, I can't think of anything right now. Of course, we always need help. Every day we need help, but Judge Cerny is, he's awesome. Every day, we know we can count on him, so.
I
does a
love
great
doing
job.
this. That's so good for my ego. Thanks, Vince. Do we have a motion to adjourn? All right, all in favor? Guys, thank you for coming here, being here in person, and giving your time and giving of yourselves to be here. I really appreciate it.